For what?
Okay, Laksh is telling that probably they thought that it is a test. वही I thought that most of you have got confused कि periodic tree देख के डर गए होंगे. Actually, I just wanted to write one title. First time I wrote it, a title वो गलत हो गया. Anyway,
Ma'am, have
Sandesh presentation.
yes, Sandesh, are you ready? Because I
Ma'am, we
had
are
to
all.
announce it, then I asked Sanika to start. Sandesh, ready? Sandesh.
ma'am, have
Ma'am,
you said the
So,
ma'am,
Soumya, आप शांत रहो. Yes,
ma'am,
Sandesh.
ma'am, Ram and me presentation.
हाँ, then start now. We are waiting for you. The whole class is waiting for you. जिसकी presentation रहती है, at least 5 मिनट पहले
Ma'am, but
आओ.
ma'am, Ram is not coming meeting.
Very good. ये आपकी तालमेल है. कितने दिनों से आप लोग कह रहे थे कि हम दे रहे हैं. Now this is what is going to happen. एक तो आपको 10-10 मिनट पहले आना चाहिए and try कर and your partner is not here. Sanika, you begin then. Mentally कोई prepare होके रहता है कि we have to give the presentation. Are you starting, Sanika? Whoever comes new, please say Sairam so they are
Yes,
attending.
ma'am, I'm starting in.
Yes. But in the unseen passage, if you are absent, then I'll put zero in that. And Prashant, please unmute yourself. Yes, Sanika, I can see your screen. And you can zoom this. And one more thing I wanted to inform you, don't get scared when you see the syllabus as to it's written, I have written a certain chapter's name. Actually, I wanted to write that for presentation. Okay, presentation has been done for many chapters, but because I had to write the syllabus in the form, I wrote a bicycle in good repair and 2 or 3 chapters in 6, 7, 8. Okay, so don't get scared with that. Just concentrate on the tools that is written, what you will get on WhatsApp. That one is PPT oblique presentation, and second one is reading comprehension, unseen passages. Okay, that is oral. Yes, yes, Sanika, you can start.
Samya,
okay? A bicycle in good repair. A man I proposed one evening we should go for a long bicycle ride together on the following day, and I agreed. I got up early. For me, I made an effort and was pleased with myself. He came half an hour late. I was. Can you scroll it down? Yeah, it's okay. I was waiting for him in the garden. It was a lovely day. He said, "That's a good looking machine of yours. How does it run?" "Oh, like most of them," I answered easily. "Enough in the morning, goes a little stuffy after lunch." He caught hold of it by a front wheel and the fork and shook it violently. I said, "Don't do that, you'll hurt it." I did not see why he should shake it. It had not done anything to him. Besides, if it wanted shaking, I was the proper person to shake it. I felt much as I should had he started walking my dog. He said, "This front wheel wobbles." I said it doesn't if you don't wobble it. It didn't wobble as a matter of fact.
Soumya, stop.
Okay.
You can give another chance to anyone.
Okay. Anumekha. Anumekha, you
He
read.
said, he said, this front wheel wobbles. I said, it doesn't if you don't wobble it. It didn't wobble as a matter of fact, nothing worth calling a wobble. He said, this is dangerous. Have you got a hammer? I ought to have been firm. I thought that perhaps he really did know something about the business. I went to the tool shed to see what I could found. When I came back, he was sitting on the ground with the front wheel between his legs. He was playing with it, twiddling it round between his fingers. The remnant of the machine was lying on the gravel path beside him. He said, it looks to me as if the bearings were all wrong. I said, don't you trouble about it anymore. You will make yourself tired. Let us put it back and get off.
Okay, Anumekha. Now, Nitish, you read.
He said, we may as well see what is the matter with it. Now it is out. He talked as though it had dropped out by accident. Before I could stop him, he had unscrewed something somewhere and out rolled all over the path some dozen or so little balls. Catch them, he shouted. Catch them. We must not lose any of them. He was quite excited about them. We grovelled round for half an hour and found 16. He said he hoped we had got them all because if not, it would make a serious difference to the machine. I put them for safety in my hat. It was not a sensible thing to do, I admit. He then said that while he was about it, he would see to the chain for me, and at once began taking off the gear case. I did try to dissuade him from that. I told him that an experienced friend of mine once said to me solemnly, if anything goes wrong with your gear case, sell the machine and buy a new one. It comes
Okay,
cheaper.
Vyom.
He's
Okay, Vyom. Catherine.
Okay. He said, people talk like that. You understand nothing about machines. Nothing is easier. Nothing is easier than taking off a gear case. I had to confess he was right. In less than 5 minutes, he had the gear case in two pieces, lying on the path and was groveling for screws. He said it was always a mystery to him the way screws disappeared. Common sense continued to whisper to me, stop
Sarthak.
him before he does any more mischief. You have a right to protect your own property.
Now, Sarthak, you read.
From the ravens of a lunatic, take him by the scruffle of the neck and kick him out of the gate. But I am weak when it comes to hurting others people's feelings, and I let him muddle on. He gave up looking for the rest of the screws. He said screws had a knack of turning up when you least expected them, and that now he would see to the chain. He tightened it till it would not move. Next, he loosened it until it was twice as loose as it was before. Then he said we had better think about getting the front wheel back into its place again. I held the fork open and he varied with the wheel. At the end of 10 minutes, I suggested he should, should hold the fort and that I should handle the wheel and we changed place. At
Stop,
length,
Sarthak, stop. Now, Yokesh, you read.
At length, we did get the thing into position, and the moment it was in position, he burst out logging. I said, What's the joke? He said, Well, I am an ass. It was the first thing he had said that made me respect him. I asked him what had led him to the discovery. He said, We were forgotten the balls. I looked for my hat. It was lying topsy turvy in the middle of the path. He was the cheerful deposition. He said, Well, we must put back all we can find and trust to
Stop,
providence.
Yokesh. Now, Sarapti, you read. We found 11. We fixed 6 on one side and 5 on the other. And half an hour later, the wheel was in its place again. It need hardly be added that it really did wobble now. A child might have noticed it. He said it would do for the present. I said, watching you do this is of real use to me. It is not only your skill and fascinates me, it is your cherry confidence in yourself, your inexplicable hopefulness that does me good. Thus, encouraged, he set it work to fix the gear case. He Stop,
stood the
Sarapti.
bicycle.
Let's you read now.
Okay. He stood the bicycle against the house and worked from the offside. Then he stood then he stood it against a tree and worked from the one on side. So Sanika, don't scroll. Then he stood it against a tree and worked from the one side. Then I held it for him while he lay on the ground with his head between the wheels and worked at it from below and dropped oil upon himself. Then he took it away from me and doubled himself across it till he lost his balance and slid over on his head. Then he lost the temper and tried bullying the thing. The bicycle, I was glad to see, showed spirit, and the subsequent proceedings uh, degenerated into little else than a rough and tumble fight between him and the machine. One moment the bicycle would be on the gravel path, and he on top of it. The next the position would be reversed.
Okay, let's
He
stop. Abhishek Yadav, you read. Abhishek Yadav.
Is not there?
Ma'am, he is in the meeting or she isn't answering.
Must be doing something else.
Okay, then Anumika, you continue.
Yes. He on the gravel path the bicycle and now he would be standing flushed with victory. The bicycle firmly fixed his legs, but his trunk would be short-lived. By a sudden quick movement, it would free itself and turning up upon him, eh, hit him sharply over the head with one of its handles. At a quarter to one, dirty and disheveled, cut and bleeding, he said, "I think that will do," and rose and wiped his brow. The
Okay, Anumika.
bicycle
Stop. Arpita, now you read. Arpita, are you here? Okay, then Aditya, you read.
At a quarter to one, dirty and disheveled, cut and bleeding, he said, I think that will do, and rose and wiped his brow. The bicycle looked if it also had enough of it, which had received the most punishment. It would have been difficult to say. I took him into the back kitchen where, so far as was possible, he cleaned himself. Then I sent him home. Jerome K. Jerome.
प्रेजेंटेशन है 1 मिनट प्रेजेंटेशन कहाँ होनी मेरा प्रेजेंटेशन वैसे भी प्रेजेंटेशन A bicycle in a good repair. Summary. One of the authors suggested that the two should go for a bicycle ride. The next day, the author reached the place half an hour before his friend and was waiting for him in the garden. The author's friend inquired about his bicycle and then gave it a shake, holding its front wheel and the fork. After a while, the man took out the front wheel of cycle while the author was away for a while, looking for an angle.
Okay, what is the spelling of summary, Sanika?
Yes, ma'am.
Summary is spelling
And where it is?
on the top, your heading, summary.
Yes, I'm sorry.
You should take care of the spelling बेटा ये सब YouTube पे जाता है तो अच्छा नहीं लगता.
Yes,
Okay?
ma'am.
You have to always get it checked by some other good friend of yours, of your classmate. You can set a meeting with Anumika or you for 5-10 minutes, show them.
No, ma'am, it is a mistake.
Okay, continue.
Samya?
Okay. Part 2. The bicycle inspection and its repair work. The author insisted on putting on the various parts of cycle in place, but his friend wanted to check the front wheel. He he unscrewed something and from somewhere around a dozen of balls bearings came out. His friend Instead that the author must collect all of them, else the bicycle might not to be restored to to its old condition. The author collected around 16 of them and kept them in his head. The author's friend now started talking of the gear case. The author warned him not to mess up with. Sanika's screen is not clear.
Not clear.
Mess up with the gear case, but his friend said that nothing is as easier as talking of the gear case. He took it off easily, but had a night time while fixing it to its place.
Now you can give to any student chance.
Rakshi, you read the third part.
Can I read?
Rakshi? Yes, ma'am. You read the third part.
Yes. Ha- is my voice clear?
Yes, your voice is clear.
Third part. His bicycle, which was until now in good condition, was now lying scattered, divided in many parts. Author wanted to stop his friend for causing further trouble, but he but but he admits that he is weak at hurting others. Then it was the time for the chain which he tightened.
What
My
happened?
Sanika, the part
Yes,
seems so.
not
sorry.
complete. Yes, tightened to an extent that it stopped moving. He then loosened it until it became twice as loose as it was before.
Catherine, you read the fourth part. Catherine, you read the fourth part.
Okay. Hard to collect the parts. After applying his tricks on the table, author's friend seemed to be contented and now wanted to put all the pieces back into their place. It took a lot of time and a great effort. The process revealed that his friend was inexperienced and knew nothing about repairing a cycle. After struggling for many hours, his friend was able to somehow fix the different parts of the bicycle. The author sorry, took him to his back kitchen where his friend cleaned himself and then the author sent him back to the home. Hard work. Whacking, wobble, twiddling, remand, bearing, see to the chain, revenge. Whacking, beating, striking. Wobble, move instantly from side to side. Twiddling, turning. Remand, remaining part. Bearing, ball bearing. See to chain check or extreme the chain. Revenges, damages. Now Soumya read.
Okay. Grovelled. Crawled on the ground. Lunatic. Mad person. Muddle. Mix up things. Topsy turvy, upside down. Index a label that can't be explained, mysterious. Degenerated into, were reduced into. Question and answer. Did the front wheel really wobble? What is your opinion? Give an reason for your
Can I?
answer. Make answer.
Yes. Um, as per my opinion, the front will wobble occasionally, but it didn't needed any repairs.
Can you please read my answer?
Yes. No, the front wheel didn't wobble. The author said that it did not wobble. There was nothing in words calling a wobble. However, after the author's friend was done with it, it definitely started wobble.
Second question. In what condition did the author find the bicycle when he returned from the tool shed? Okay, Laksh, you answer. Ma'am, may I answer? Yes. He found front wheel removed and saw the man sitting on the ground with the front wheel between his legs. He was playing with it, twisting it around between his fingers. The remnant of the machine was lying on the gravel path beside him. Can you please read my answer? Okay. When the author returned from the tool shed, he saw his friend sitting on the ground with the front wheel between his legs. He was playing with it, twiddling it around between his fingers, and he remanded for the machine was lying on the gravel path beside him. Third question. Nothing is easier than taking off the gear case. Comment on or continue the sentence in the light of what actually happened.
Can I answer?
Yes, answer.
Yes. Nothing is easier than taking off the gear case, but it is an impossible task to fix it back. Back. The author took out the gear case, but he was and he had a nightmare in putting it back.
Can you please read our answer?
The author friend wanted to check the chain of the bicycle. For this, he began taking off the gear case. The author tried to dissuade him from doing that by telling him that if anything does go wrong with the gear case of a bicycle, then it is cheaper to sell the bicycle than set about repairing the damaged gear case. However, his friend disagreed and said that nothing was easier than taking off a gear case. The author notes with sarcasm that his friend was indeed right. In less than 5 minutes, he had the gear case in two pieces, lying on the path.
Sarcasm, it's sarcasm.
Fourth question. What special treatment did the chain
Can
receive?
I? Can I?
Yes,
Yes.
Mrinalini answer.
Yes. The author's friend did not spare the chain. Also, he took off the gear case. To take off the chain, he tightened it till it would not move, and then he loosened it too much. Thus, this way, the chain got very loose.
Please read our my answer.
Yes. The author's friend tightened the chain till it did not move. Then he loosened it until it was twice as loose as it was before.
The friend has two qualities. He knows what he is doing and absolutely sure it is good. Find the two phase in the text which mean the same.
Can I?
Okay, my answer.
First is cheery confidence, and second is inexplicable hopefulness.
Please read my answer.
Cheery confidence and inexplicable hopefulness are the two phrases which respectively showed that the author's friend knew what he was doing and was absolutely sure that it was good.
Describe the fight between the man and the machine. Find the relevant sentence in the text and write them.
Can
May
I?
I answer? May I answer? Okay. The subsequent processing degenerate into little else than a rough and tumble fight between him and the machine. One moment the bicycle would be on the gravel path and he opened top of it. The next the position would be received he on the gravel path, the bicycle on him. By a sudden quick movement it would free itself and turning upon him hit him sharply over the head with one of its handles. Can you please read my answer? Okay. When author's friend doubted himself across the bicycle till he lost his balance and said over onto his head. He lost his temper and tried out looking, buying it. The bicycle showed stamped, and there ensues a fight between him and machine. One moment, bicycle was on the gravel path and he on the top of it. Next moment, the position was res- reversed. He became happy with his victory after the bicycle was firmly fixed between his legs. However, his turnip was short-lived. By a sudden quick movement, the bicycle freed itself and hit him sharply over the head with one of its handles by turning upon him. After a while, he gave up, saying that the bicycle looked as if it also had enough of it.
Okay, Sanika, how many more slides are there?
Ma'am, 15 slides are there and
15
10 are
slides are
done.
left. And how many are left?
And 5 slides are left. 5 are.
Okay. Can you pause over here and just remember this number of the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now listen to me. First of all, Sarthak, are you there?
Yes,
Sorry,
ma'am.
not Sarthak. Sandesh. Sandesh. Sorry, Sandesh. Again, Sandesh, he left the meeting. Great. Who is a friend of Sandesh and Ram?
And me.
Okay, then you inform him सार्थक कि एक तो आप लोगों ने बोला था कि आज presentation दोगे. Sanika wasn't मतलब it wasn't her chance. Still she gave the presentation. That was very
Okay,
nice of
ma'am.
Sanika and Soumya.
Yes, ma'am.
You should tell them कि अगर नहीं अगली बार करेंगे तो मैं आपको 0 दे दूंगी फिर. This
Okay,
is
ma'am.
one of the tools of your assessment. अब yes मैम मत बोलो, बस सुनो, ठीक है? Then secondly, the ones who are left, अगर आपके उनमें से कोई फ्रेंड्स हैं तो उनको भी बोल दो कि बी रेडी. एंड लोकेश, मैंने आपका पढ़ लिया है कि आई विल गिव यू द चांस जब इन लोगों का हो जाएगा. पहले ये है लाइन में, ठीक है? आपका आप बना के रखो, उसकी प्रैक्टिस करो, चाहे तो सार्थक से मीटिंग कर लो या किसी से, एंड उसको देख लो कि आपको स्क्रीन शेयरिंग आती है कि नहीं. सब कुछ आपको ही करना पड़ेगा. ओके, तो आप कॉन्फिडेंट हो जाओ. Next, I want to tell you that yes, Laksh, are you in charge of the English? This one of the art integration.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then please share this thing with either Vyom or Arush and get it checked, because you people are only going to check the spelling mistakes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you can have it. Who all is there with you, along with you, in
Ma'am,
English?
in my group,
Yes.
ma'am, Ame, Shashank, these two only are doing
Only
work.
these.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Sarthak and Nitish.
okay, fine. So you've done your part. You can show it to me maybe next period. If, remind me in the next English period that I have to see your presentation. You can share the screen and show me.
Sure, ma'am.
Presentation also.
Yes, Catherine, what do you want to say?
Ma'am, that day I was absent. Can you tell again what we have to make?
About the tools.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, one is your presentation one, and you have already done it. Okay, that is one of the tool, and another one is unseen passages. I'll be sharing it on screen, and I will ask you questions